Morning, welcome back. Time 5:13. Now, one of the things we like to do here on the NBC Today show is share delicious recipes, and it's Friday. Chef Brad is with us. We're very excited. Tell folks what you're making today.
We're going to do a smothered pork chop. Basically, smothering stuff. Anything can be smothered with anything. I mean, it's kind of the history. Real quick, snapshot of what smothering is. But so we're going to do a smothered pork chop with onions. And basically what we have here is some powder. We're going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, and a little bit of cayenne, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Get that in there real quick. Just give it a quick mix. And then what we're going to do is just dredge our pork in the flour. Just kind of knock off the excess. What I've done here is I've preheated a pan, and what I'm waiting for is just to get a little bit of smoke off the olive oil.
Okay.
As soon as I see a couple wisps of smoke come up, then I know my pan's ready, because pork tends to be really damp. And you want to sear this and get some crust on it, so you need a really hot pan to do that. And I think we're just about there. Yeah, that looks good.
We can hear the sizzle.
So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just dredging in a real quick, simple flour mixture.
You know what I like about how you do things, Brad? You make it look so easy. I mean,
I think it is easy.
Of course you do. That's why you're here. But no, really, I mean, you're putting in the ingredients, and you don't have to measure everything perfectly, right?
No, cooking, the thing about a recipe is a skeleton. It's your job to bring it to life. So cooking is an art, where they say baking is a science. So with cooking, you can kind of add things and take away things and build something that you like. Again, it's a skeleton. Your job is to bring it to life. And so, a lot of times, like when I cook for friends and family and stuff like that, I know we like garlic, so I may add a lot more garlic than I would for maybe a client that doesn't really like garlic. Maybe I'll take the garlic right out. Recipes are not meant in cooking to be followed to the T.
To the T. Well, okay, so one of the beautiful things that you do is you actually show the process of this dish, but for time purposes, let's talk about what's the prep time and how much can a person expect to spend on this?
This dish is about an hour and 45 minutes from start to finish. An hour and a half of that is going to be spent in the oven, so about 15 minutes of prep. Now this morning I cut up my onions, and then I just kind of put my stuff in dishes just so guys could see me dump everything in, but normally I just dump it in with my
Very cool.
my
15
saucepan.
minutes of prep. Can't beat that.
Yeah, about 15 minutes, throw it in the oven, walk away.
Okay.
And you're all set.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it. We'll stick around. You're going to be able to see the final product, of course, a little later. Welcome back. Time 6:13. It's Friday. That means Chef Brad is in the kitchen with us this morning, and as always, smells delicious, Brad.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. I'd hate it if it didn't. We're just kind of finishing up a little bit for the pork chops that we're smothering. We had them in the oven for about an hour, and one of the things you want to do is we're making a quick roux. What I did is I reserved a little bit of the flour we dredged the pork chops in.
Let's review for viewers. With the pork chops, what you did is you actually first cooked them for a little bit of time here over the stove top,
Yeah, just enough to sear them on both sides, get a nice crust. And then we cooked a whole bunch of onions.
Yes.
And then we put them in.
Put them in the oven.
Put them in the oven and just let them cook. And we're letting them cook. And I added a cup of stock, chicken stock, just to give us some good moisture in there.
Okay, so let's move on over here. Now this is something else that we're working on.
Yeah, because this took so long, I wanted to have something for you guys to do while we were, waiting on that to cook. So what we're doing is, this is a take off a pork chop I do. I do an apple stuffed pork chop, but I thought it'd be fun and a little bit lighter if we did an apple and pork skewer. And then we made a sauce with apple butter and a little bit of chicken stock.
Now here's something I didn't know. Yes, you can tease me later, but this is not actual apple butter.
No, it's just basically, it's the best way to describe it is all they've done is taken applesauce and just really cooked it down, and they call it apple butter. And they get this thick, kind of creamy.
And where do you find this?
You can find it in the peanut butter and jelly section of any grocery store.
Okay.
It's going to be usually on a top shelf or something like that. And then if you're lucky, you'll find stuff made with honey, which is really good.
Okay, so really quick, so you put some slices of apple, some thinly sliced pork.
Yep, we just took a center cut pork chop and sliced it real thin, and now we're just weaving it on there. and then we're putting apple in between.
And where are we going to put this? How are
And
we
we're
going to
gonna
put this?
you can do it on the grill, you can do it in the broiler, you can do it on the stovetop, whatever you want to
But
do
this
at
morning
home.
we're going to put it here on the stove
Yep,
top.
we're going to do it on the stovetop.
And then you're just going to dip it in the apple butter?
I'm going to brush it with the apple butter
Mm-hmm.
and then sear it off on the stovetop, or like I said, even a broiler.
That looks so good. I could eat it raw. Maybe.
You
but
may
I
not
won't try
want
it. I
to.
won't try it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Brad. We're going to toss it now to Jason.
Here at the end to thank Chef Brad for coming in and preparing this pork dish. Ilse, what do you think there? You were in the kitchen with
I
him.
can't wait.
I'm
I
gonna
can't
try
wait.
this.
I can't wait to eat it. I can't wait to make it. I can't wait for my girls to try it.
Now, you're in the kitchen all the time with your family, Ilse. What did you learn from Brad?
Well, I wouldn't say all the time.
Yeah.
But what I learned is don't get intimidated.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
It's just food.
It's just food, and just have fun.
Yeah,
Have
you
fun.
can't screw it up, and if
No.
you do, make something else.
Okay.
Brad, you know, it's good to have comfort food, I guess, when it's raining outside.
Well, every time I look at Jason's forecast, he keeps bringing in cold weather, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to bring some comfort food. So
What about that?
This is so
Is it
good.
comfortable?
This is good pork.
It's so good.
I'm going to grab a fork in just a moment. Now, you really made, Brad, two different things.
I
One
did.
was this kebab thing, and the other was the smothered thing. Now, go through these. What it is? What
we
is
have the, it's just kind of a lighter version of a stuffed pork chop I do for some of my clients. We did it with apples, a little bit of apple butter sauce I made up, and then you can serve that with a rice or a potato if you want. And then we did the smothered chicken with a little bit of sauce. And that cooks about an hour and a half, so I had to have something to do while that was cooking. So
Chef Brad can come to your house. That's what he does for a living, right? He comes to your house and he cooks. So if you need to contact him, it's at Food 2611. Briefly, at the end here, pork you're working with, it seems like it's got gaining a little steam. People like pork these days.
it is. It's a center cut pork chop or like a tenderloin is just as lean or almost as lean as a skinless, boneless chicken breast. So it's a very lean meat. So I think people are starting to realize that and are getting into using it in their food.
Good protein, pork.
It's a great protein.
Hey, that's
Thanks,
our
Brad.
broadcast. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday.